Good day, my name is Christelle from Frans, Klerk, Independent Technical Analyst. Frans wanted us to look at PPE, the purple group. Yes, the stochastic is sitting on a 59, which makes it difficult to make decisions. But more importantly, I want to change this to a line graph because there is a beautiful higher low that was confirmed, Francia, when that resistance that weighted at 79 cents changed into a support. Why? Because this low at 74 cents is a little bit higher than this low that weighted at 69. And that tells us that there were buyers that bought in the dips that was prepared to protect the share for higher levels. Now, the big strong test for the purple group is whether they will change that resistance that's waiting at 84 cents into a support. Above 84 cents, we can assume that the momentum to the top will continue. However, if it can't break through 84 cents, that will be a confirmation that there's not enough buyers, that the sellers maybe want to rather come in and protect or sell off the share and take profit. Strong support, or the next support level that you can use as protection, is waiting at 79 cents, and obviously that low waiting at 74 cents. As I've said in the previous session, that it's so difficult and it's definitely a risky play when you try to buy a share after it's rallied so much. We want to try and get something when it's low and it confirms optimism. But to buy a share at these levels might be risky, but sometimes when those resistance levels, like Purple Group did here at 56 cents, once it changes those resistance levels into a support, and there is a lot of sentiment and optimism and everybody talks about it, it can easily rally higher. But I would use that 79, 84 and that support at 74 cents to make your decisions. And remember, these are weekly graphs, so in other words, it needs to be on the Friday close. Let's go back to candle graphs. That's our favorite. Africa wanted us to look at RMB. So I assume it's RMB Holdings Africa. So the ticker is RMH. All right. So yes, we know because of that unbundling, massive decline. And there is a window, a fundamental window that is waiting at 54 Rand 80. What does that mean? At some stage in the future, whether it's 10 years from now, RMB has to go and close that window at 54 cents. So yes, it can take decades before we get there. And now your question is, where can I buy it? So at the moment, once there is enough buyers, the strong resistance that needs to change into a support is waiting at 1 Rand 72. Why? Because then a possible beautiful double bottom will be confirmed. And we know double bottoms, inverse head and shoulder formations, and triple bottoms are beautiful technical patterns that suggest a possible turnaround for shares. So above 1 Rand 72, a double bottom will be confirmed. I would be concerned about RMB. If you want to use a stop loss, use 1 Rand and 3 cents as a possible stop loss. And then obviously these resistance levels waiting at 1 Rand 44, 1 Rand 49 and 1 Rand 56 is possible targets that you can use for higher levels. Yes, you might have to wait a long time for that 54 level to close. And yes, it's a fundamental window, but we know the rules around windows are, if you've got the patience and the endurance to wait for it, it might treat you very well. Long for life. Tracy, a beautiful another double bottom is visible. And I want to use my crayon, not my line. Beautiful double bottom is visible on long for life. And yes, that double bottom will be confirmed when that trend line waiting there at that resistance at 3 Rand 22 changes into a support. That would be positive. Optimism, my red line, my 40-week moving average, Tracy, has changed into a support. That means my long-term sentiment towards this share has changed to positive. Will it keep it above the 40-week? I don't know. We'll have to wait. These are weekly graphs and the candle needs to close there. But that is optimistic at the moment as the stance is standing. And then obviously the target, how high can it go? I can take the length of my left or my right leg, project it upwards from where the formation will be confirmed on that neckline, means long for life can go back to 3 Rand 88, assuming the full target of the formation plays out. Yes, it's not going to happen in one line, but that is a possible level that you can use as a target. I will be concerned about long for life, or the optimism around the double bottom will become obsolete when these previous support levels on long for life waiting at 2 Rand 48 changes into a resistance again. I like this graph, Tracy. I think you've got something there. BC wanted us to look at Montauk, ticker MANK. So at the moment, again, massive rally to the top. But have a look, BC. Every high the last couple of weeks was lower than the last highest high on the 12th of October at 92 Rand. What does that imply? Loss of momentum. Sellers have taken profit, and the big question is now, should you as well? So what you can do is you can use these previous support levels, and again, real bodies or wicks, to identify a protection level for you, for your, what I would assume, profit. Below 67.91, I would be concerned about Montauk, that we can maybe see lower levels. But when these resistance levels waiting at 77 Rand 67, and when 82 Rand 55 changes into a support again, we can assume that the momentum to the top will continue and that we can see higher levels. If we go back and I take this double bottom that was confirmed there, or maybe rather a higher low, because these support levels are a little bit higher than this support there at 21 Rand. If I take this higher low or cup and handle formation, some might even call it a cup and handle, I take the conservative length of my leg and I project it upwards, it means Montauk could go to 92 Rand 90. But have a look, BC, it reached that level there around 90 cents away in that week of the 12th of October, and ever since then it retraced. So that might be a confirmation that, hey, this possible cup and handle has already played out, and you should have put your selling order in there to bank profit. Protection levels you can use, and obviously if that level is too close, you can use that neckline at 60 Rand 83, depending on where you've bought, as a possible protection level for Montauk. Michael wanted us to look at BHP Billiton, but in Australia. Again, opportunities. Nicely oversold, stochastic. The two lines, my K line, shorter line, D line, have broken upward. That confirms a divergence. Michael, now the big test is how high can it go, and what does the graph say? One, we're above that 40-week moving average. That is seen as positive. But at the moment, we can also see that there is a possible inverse head and shoulder formation on Billiton. Left shoulder, massive head, and a possible right shoulder. If that neckline, waiting there around $39.33, changes into a support, this inverse head and shoulder formation comes into play and can play out. When will I be concerned about Billiton? When these support levels, and also take note here, Michael, the right shoulder support is very close to that left shoulder support. The levels are very similar. Below that level, the optimism around that inverse head and shoulder formation will be off the table. And then we can assume that we can see higher levels. But the graph looks strong. Candles look strong. It's nicely oversold. That's the best place to buy. So what levels can you use? You can either take it at current, because it's coming from such low levels, or you can use the previous high, $36.96. Above that level, we can assume that the share has enough buyers to take it higher, and you can use the 40-week moving average waiting at $34.77 as a protection level, or $33.68, which is where my right shoulder is waiting. Mr. Wright wanted us to look at the Fusi Group. And again, like in my previous session, as mentioned, windows always close. And Mr. Wright, I really hope that you held on for that window, which closed at 101 Rand 68. And at the moment, we've spoken before about this cup and handle formation on the Fusi Group. Yes, it is overbought, but we'll have a look now at those two lines in the indicator. It looks like it wants to break upwards again. And now the big test is, will it keep this trend line, that neckline of my cup and handle, a support? And that is waiting at 92 Rand 59. As long as the Fusi Group continues to consolidate above 92 Rand 59, I can assume the momentum to the top is in place. But, Mr. Wright, your big test now is, yes, it's closed that window that waited at 101.68. With this candle, you can see it pierced that window. But will there now be enough buyers to continue it above the window and to take this full formation to its target? So what is the conservative target of the cup and handle? I can take the length of the handle, project it upwards from where it will be confirmed, which means it can go back to 109 Rand and 1 cent. Or if I take the full length of the cup, let's keep the cup straight. and I take it upwards, it can go back to 132 Rand and 5 cents. I will be concerned about the Fusi Group below these lows at 84 Rand and 5 cents, and especially below the 40-week moving average, waiting at 77 Rand and 1 cent. The big question always is, where do I take profit? If your stochastic is overbought and there's a negative divergence, and the shares stop making new highs, and there's turnaround candles with long tails at the top, that is the indication to take your 10, 15, 12, 8% and bank it and move on to something else. The graph is coming from an extremely low base. I mean, the share is trading at the same levels it did back in 2016. Yes, it can easily go higher, but it can also reverse to retrace. You can buy it back again when the share is oversold and then trade the bounces as it becomes overbought again. If you've got any questions, please feel free to send us your request through for next week's show. Have a fantastic week. Take care.